Hey guys, what's up? Boy, do we have a guest for you today.
Boy, do we have a guest for you today.
What's up, Zen Dude Nation? What's going on, everybody? We want to welcome you back to another episode of the Zen Dude Fitness Show. We have a very special guest for you today, Mr. Shane Mosley Jr. himself. What's going on, dude?
How you guys doing, Zen Dude Nation?
Live studio audience here today. Go ahead, clap. Turn the claps on.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nice. All right, everyone simmer down. The sign is off.
Behave.
It says stop clapping.
Behave
Okay,
yourself.
pay attention to the sign. It's a live studio audience recording.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, guys. Yo, Shane, why don't you tell the people out there in Zen Dude Nation who you are and yeah, man, what you do for a living? What do you do with life? Where's your intention, your focus, your energy going?
All right. So Zen Dude Nation, I am a professional boxer. I go by the name of the Sugar Man, Shane Mosley Jr.
Sugar Man, I like that.
If you guys know anything about boxing, my dad was a Hall of Fame boxer, Sugar Shane Mosley Senior. So right now, I currently am a professional boxer. I also personal train people, and so that's what I do with my time right now.
Nice, man. Where are you from?
I'm from Pomona, California, but I currently live in Santa Monica.
Santa Monica, dude.
Yeah.
Santa Monica's pretty dope. I like it here.
It's a lot of dope people in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
This guy's in Santa Monica. The
Yeah.
beach is here.
These guys are in Santa Monica.
Zen dudes are in Santa Monica.
I'm a fan. Big fan.
It's awesome, man.
Bay Cities is in Santa
Bay
Monica.
Cities
Big
Deli.
Italian, delicious Italian subs. That's how we get down.
All right, man. Well, I think everyone would be super curious to hear, like, what is the journey to become a professional boxer, right? Like, I think so many of us, like, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a pro NBA player. That obviously didn't happen. But, like, you have this grand vision of, like, one day I'm going to be a professional athlete.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear, like, you know, maybe, like, a little summary of, like, the journey that's taking to you to get there, man.
Well, it takes a lot of trial and error. You know, I mean, a lot of grinding and kind of working on your craft. I have to work on the small things, the basics, a lot. Like every single day, I have to work on basics and stuff like that. And then just mental focus and having a goal, things of that nature. If you want to get better at anything, you just gotta have a goal of what you want to focus on, and then just kill it.
Yeah.
Man, I agree.
All right, man. So I guess I want to hear the story. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a little bit selfish here. Obviously, I started boxing, so like I want to hear this guy's story for my own benefit. I'm like, I don't want to be a pro, but I want to have a first amateur fight, and I want to win that fight convincingly.
Yeah. So,
like, what does it take to go from like noob, someone who's like has no experience boxing, to becoming a pro, a guy who's like, on these pay-per-view fights, going around the world, traveling, and like, getting on that level?
First you have to. Let me see. What would be the first thing that I would tell you to do? I mean, first I would tell you to find your boxing stance. That's the first thing. Find and then find your style of boxing, how you want to, fight. And then from there, you practice. It takes a lot of practice. So we work on, how to throw your jabs and things like that. Just how to throw your punches. From there, you would then get into sparring, which you've already gotten into.
Yeah, dude.
You get into sparring, and then you would get your amateur fights. From there, you would just continue to get more and more amateur fights. I think to turn pro, you have to have at least like 10 amateur fights, because they want you to have some sort of experience. But for the most part, it's just putting in that time. Putting in that time with practicing, putting in that time so that you can get more comfortable sparring. And then when you get more comfortable sparring, you get more comfortable in actual fights, being around the crowd and having that energy. Just feeling what that feels like to be in the ring with somebody else that has the intentions of hurting you. Yeah, I mean, you have to get comfortable with that.
Yeah, someone's trying to kill you.
Yeah, with somebody trying to kill you. So you would do that with amateur fights, and then from there, you would then move on to a professional fight without headgear and things like that. And maybe if if you would be comfortable with it, you would have to spar without headgear and things of that nature. So that you get kind of used to that whole feel. But I wouldn't recommend that. I mean, if some people do it. I wouldn't recommend that, but if you want to, you could. And then from there, professional fights, and then the more fights you get, just kind of stepping up that ladder.
Yeah.
When was your first fight, man? And what was that experience like? Like, even if it was in the playground or whatever, like, do you remember your first fight?
My first fight, God. Well, my first fights were mostly with my cousins.
Yeah.
Like, because we grew up together, we grew up like brothers. So we would fight. We'd obviously see my dad, fighting and be around boxing all the time. So we'd fight like that at home or like at the gym or whatever like that. But my first amateur fight, I was 16 years old, and I had it at, I think it was like Compton High School or something that. Yeah, I had it it was like at a high school. So I had my first fight there. I was 15 years old, 15 or 16, one or two. And then my first professional fight, I had at Port Waimea. I was 23 years old.
Nice.
It was great.
Yeah, dude, what was that experience like, man? Your first pro fight, like walking out, dude, like, come on, like from the music to everything, like, what was that?
Man. So my first song was Right Above It by Lil Wayne.
Nice.
Absolutely.
The banger.
I'll never forget that. Yes.
So
and I had
good.
the whole vibe. But like, I was so ready, but so nervous all at once. I knew I was going to beat this guy. As bad as that sounds. But like, I was still so nervous because it wasn't like nervous like I was going to get hurt or I thought I was going to get hurt. It was more so nervous like I really, really want this experience to be great. You know what I mean? Like, I want to knock him out. And I did. I knocked him out with a body shot in the first round. Yeah. So that was great. And then, just continue fighting, man. Just getting those fights under my belt. And it's been a great experience. I'm currently 10-2 as a professional. And I just fought on Manny Pacquiao's undercard in Australia. So that was a great experience. And just continue moving.
Yeah, man. There's a few things that I want to dive into again, because the art of boxing is a really cool thing, because it really is an art. Because you talked about like it is very zen in the way that like you're finding your unique fighting style for yourself. Like, a lot of people think like you just plug into a cookie cutter style and that's what you do, but what you explain is like you're like discovering what your artistic expression is in fighting. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So like, every person is different. Like, we're all different. So and boxing or fighting is an expression of you and who you are, your environment, like what you've been through and things of that nature. And it all comes out in your fighting style. So you take who you are as a person, whether that's defensive, whether that's, attacking, whatever that may be, and you take that into your fighting style because it is all an expression of who you are. So, and you really actually find out who you are through fighting. When you get hit in the face or when you're tired and can't move and, you just, some people, when they're tired and they get hurt, they fight back. Some people, they get tired and they get hurt, they run, they're more defensive, not scared, but more tactical. They think, okay, then I'm gonna move this way or I'm gonna move that way and try to get things back. But you really find out who you are from those experiences. And that's like everything. They say, what does it say? Adversity introduces the man to himself.
I love that, man.
That's good.
And what would you define yourself as? Like, do you tend to get more strategic, or are you like, dude, you just smacked me way too hard, like I'm coming after you?
Which I might have to change. Zendu Nation, I might have to change this because it might get me into some trouble. But when I get hit, I turn into a fighter, man. It's like red.
Yeah.
Like, boom. I'm like, I'm gonna fight you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But that's not always the best way to look at things. And like I said, adversity, introduces a man to himself. So I realize that, I see that. So that's I'm gonna eventually have to change that, and that's what boxing does. I started out this way, and I started out as a fighter. I might turn into a boxer later on down the line, because when you get older, you realize the more strategic you have to be and figure things out, because you're not so athletic anymore, or you're not so fast anymore. Your bones don't heal as quick as they used to, so you have to adjust. Even like Floyd Mayweather, or like my dad, for instance, they're not the same fighters they were when they were young. They have to evolve and grow.
Absolutely.
Speaking of your dad, man, do you guys ever get there and do a little sparring action? Does that ever happen?
I don't ever spar with my dad. I just feel like that's more of like a sacred bond. You know what I mean? I don't want to hit somebody that I would love and care about. Even if we're practicing and things like that, and a lot of people ask me or say, well, you can learn a lot from him. You shouldn't look at it that way. But he's always going to be my dad. I could punch on anybody else. I could punch on a whole lot of people I could punch on. Why should it be my dad? And that's just my philosophy. I could learn from because I've been in the ring with a lot of great fighters, and I could learn from them. I don't need to take it out on my dad. And plus, my dad is smaller than me too.
Very nice.
Dude, I really respect that, man, because I feel like, a lot of guys, like especially at your dad's level, would want to be like, no, like me and my son are fighting, or it's cool to see that type of bond though between you guys.
Yeah. So I mean, really, he is fine with it. He actually kind of sometimes wants to.
Okay.
For me, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing it. That's just a personal thing, and I don't feel like that should ever be broken. I always want to keep that, because this is just personal experience. Men get, they start to bump heads and stuff like that, and I don't want to go down that road with my dad.
Yeah, I feel you.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me about patience, the patience it requires to hone your craft, and the patience requires to move your career forward in boxing because of how that whole world's set up. Yeah.
So the patience it takes to hone your craft is, you need a lot of patience for that, because it doesn't come so easily. You have another person throwing punches at you, hitting you, things like that, and it's not gonna come right away, and that's like most things. You have to work at it. You have to put the time and grind into it. But it's a little bit different because you actually physically take damage. So it's a little bit different when it comes from that aspect. Your bones hurt, your muscles are fatigued and things like that. So it just takes a lot of patience and just understanding of your own body, and having an understanding of your mind and how it works. So just grabbing all those things. But the even harder part is the patience for getting fights, because fighters, the boxing world treats the fighters very badly. I feel, in my opinion,
from what I heard, man, I agree fully.
In my opinion, they treat us like prostitutes, as bad as that sounds. And they kind of dry you out, so to speak. So they make you feel like you have to fight. So they managers or promoters won't get you fights for a very long time. So when they do, say magically you have a fight, I have a fight for you. You haven't fought in 6 months or a year or so long. You're just like, okay, I'll fight anybody. I don't care.
Yeah.
So they get you to that mode where you're desperate to fight now, and it's in their benefit, because maybe they'll get more money for that when they would have gotten maybe a couple thousand. Now they get a lot more. So I think as far as the business side of boxing, it has to change dramatically.
Yeah.
For it to be beneficial to the fighters. I feel like it's very beneficial to the promotions and things like that. That's why we have fights like Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. They're making a lot of money, but there's so many, fighters that are not making a lot of money.
Yeah, the gym that you train at, there's just some of the best boxers in the world training at that gym, and I feel like it's just a matter of people building their brands. I don't want to come in here and say I get it, but the way I see things, it's everyone just needs to blow their brand up, and then it kind of it turns the tables on the promoters, because all of a sudden you have all the control. Like Conor McGregor and Floyd have all the control right now because they're just such massive brands.
Yeah.
I don't know, do you think there's a wave of that coming in the upcoming boxers, or do you think like, yeah, I don't know, how do you think that's going to play out?
I think that there could be. I think the mindset of the fighter has to change to where he learns how to promote himself and looks at things differently. I feel like if we continue to, as boxers, think the same way, we're going to continue to get the same results. So, and that's the insanity. You know?
Yeah.
So, I think if I start out this wave of different thinking of promoting yourself, or things like that, and branch out to other fighters, the fighters that are at my gym, and we continue this trend, then things can change, especially with the technology that we have. I mean, we don't technically need any promoter or anything like that. We can do it ourselves, but we have to choose to.
Mm-hmm.
Are you seeing a lot is that becoming like a thing amongst fighters, or you're like one of the first wave of guys who's doing that because you're in that age group of people who've grown up with like we grew up with Snapchat and Instagram, so it might be a little bit more intuitive for you to do it.
And I feel like I am one of the first couple of boxers that have started this wave or trend, but definitely I feel like this generation will this generation will catch on quicker.
Yeah.
Than the other past generations.
Nice.
I love that, man. Because I love boxing so much. I love watching it. And I think it's insane that it doesn't get way more attention than it does. Like when you look at I don't know, man, like a lot of golf gets mainstream TV play, versus the quality of fights that could be on TV.
And well, I think one of the reasons why, fighting or boxing isn't so popular is because it's not as consistent as most sports. So, in its nature, boxing or fighting, you have to hurt and disable the other person, right?
Yeah.
So, with that being said, if I disable you or hurt you or beat you, you can't fight. Let's say a month later, you have to take a rest because your body's taking a beating. So, then that means you're out of commission. So that means you can't fight anymore. So if you do that to a lot of people, if you're the top dog and you beat everybody, there's nobody else to fight.
Yeah.
So in its nature that, that's what makes boxing so difficult as far as marketing is concerned. So if we can't market you, or if you can't fight on a consistent basis, then we can't advertise you. We can't put you on, different things.
I mean, I'm going to change the subject on you really quick.
Absolutely.
And I want to ask the question, do you think anyone can be a pro boxer, or do you think you need to have something genetically in your DNA that makes you a fighter?
Okay, I'm going to start by saying this. I think anyone can be a fighter, but not everyone can take a punch and continue to want to fight. So, yes, I do, as a philosophy, absolutely. But you have to be willing to take a punch and give it back. And have that drive. You know what I mean? To want to not give up. And
was that learned? Or was that were you born with that, or was that something that you learned growing up?
That's hard to say, because I can't say that I was born with it, because I was born into a environment where I saw someone get hit, which is my dad, and continue. He was a world champion. He was on the Olympic team and things like that. So I was around this type of behavior a lot. So I can't say that it was born with. You know what I mean? Because I had seen it all the time. So I think it's actually learned. But I learned it from a young age, so you could say he's born with it,
Yeah, for sure.
Like people say, I have a great chin, I was born with that. I don't technically know, because when I was young, I seen my dad get hit with shots and fight like a champion all the time. So that nature is I've seen it since I was young.
Yeah.
So it's in me now. It's, I absorbed it at such a young age.
Man.
So I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Dude, what a powerful analogy though for like visualization. Like that's a physical example of you having your father to look at, but like, people visualizing their success and really like, that in a way you were visualizing that, and that's probably why it became like part of your life.
Absolutely.
That you could just take a hit,
Mm-hmm. And many other things, what I mean? If I see my dad, knocking people out, and I see it at a young age, I visualize, okay, when I punch, I turn my shots over, and I see his intentions, I see his energy as he's throwing these shots. So I embody that. I mean, I embody the way he's throwing his shots, and that's like anything. If you grow up in Mexico or Colombia, for that, you get that type of experience. So you see and you talk like them. People from Mexico and people from Colombia speak Spanish, but they speak it differently. So maybe some with their hands more. So if you grow up in Colombia, you act like a Colombian. If you grow up in Mexico, you act like a Mexican. Even though they speak the same language, they're different. It is expressed differently.
So you grew up as a fighter.
I grew up as a fighter, like an elite fighter.
Yeah. The imprint was just like conditioned.
Exactly.
And I feel like you're someone who's continued to condition that into your mind. I mean, you told me before, like in the gym, like keep your hands up, just keep saying to yourself, strong, strong, strong. Talk to me about like the way you talk to yourself and encourage other people to talk themselves to like achieve.
Well, with that, I mean, of course, you have to speak it into existence. Powerful, I am a champion, and things of that nature. But I remember, I think it was Tony Robbins that said, you have to use your physiology to change your biochemistry, to change your mind. So if you stand strong, then you think strong, and then you can tell yourself, then I am a champion. So then it conditions that to even get stronger. And then if your mind is almost like YouTube, right? If you type in champion, it'll find everything that is champion-like. So it goes, okay, boom. And this is how I fight now. So if you think strong, your mind goes, boom, what's strong to me? Boom. So you keep your hands up, and so you have to condition yourself to find and put more content in there that is strong.
Dude, that was gold, man. Yo, that example of YouTube was really good. I'm gonna use that.
So you're just constantly brainwashing yourself.
Constantly putting content, strong content out there.
Yeah. So is that like digital content, and then also just like the people you try to spend your time with?
Absolutely. People you spend your time with, people you talk to, people you watch, things like that. I mean, if you want to be good at anything, you have to find different ways to be connected to that.
So as a fighter, like I do this for my own life, just like personally, like I'm not gonna have anyone in my circle I spend time with who isn't positive and like bringing me up. Like I just won't do it. I won't kick it with them. If they're with one of my friends, like I just won't be in that circle. You as a fighter, like if you come across someone who doubts you and is like someone who is like clearly doubts you, like do you make sure that they are outside the circle and they don't have an opportunity to infest like your mind and like the mind of a champion, or do you have that shit coming in all the time and you just learn to deal with it?
It depends on how close they are, but for the most part, you're always gonna have haters or someone that is not as positive or thinks just like you. So you can't just avoid everybody, because then you'd be in a box somewhere. But you can't avoid negativity. Some of the negativity is good. Some of the negativity can be used positively, but you have to learn and build up those skills to turn it positive. You know what I mean? Not everybody can just start out like that. So for me, I feel like there are certain people that I use their negativity for positivity, but I think it just takes time.
So by using negativity for positivity, is that like you let your haters be your motivators, or
Right, absolutely. Like, they said I can't do it, so I'm gonna do it. Like DJ Khaled, they said we can't win, so what we gonna do? Win.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
I love it.
Like what? Yeah, for you, like does anger motivate you, or does just the thought of, like, we talk about this a lot, and for me, like, I'm definitely someone who's more motivated by the idea that, like, I'm the underdog, and that, like, oh, this person thinks I'm not gonna do it, well, fuck them. Like, then I'm like more motivated to do it. Or are you someone who's just like, I just want this because I want this, or do you do better under that pressure of, like, yo, this dude can't do this?
I feel like for me, I do a little bit better on the I can't do. They said I can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for me that is easier to get, like, more motivation for me.
Yeah.
But that doesn't work for everybody. You know what I mean? I don't feel like that always works for everybody.
Absolutely.
I don't feel like it always works for me. You know what I mean? Sometimes I feel like even for, like, my last fight, I feel like, I needed to be down to then come back. And I feel like it was a little too late.
Yeah.
For my last fight, I didn't come on until about the 4th or 5th round, and towards the end, of course I'm coming back and he looks like I'm going to knock him out. But at the same time, if I would have started that earlier, if I would have started from the beginning, then it wouldn't have been, he would have been knocked out, or I would have won.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I needed to see that I was down to come back, but it was a little too late. So it doesn't always work for me, but I feel like, that's what I do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I wonder if, like, in your next fight, if you just, like, did some deep visualization, like, before you even got in the ring, of, like, man, I'm already down 3 rounds,
right,
and I got to go in here and I have to win the rest of these rounds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know, you probably do that already, but
I mean, I don't feel like I've used that technique just yet. And you might have just enlightened me right now, so it might be great. You got it on camera too. So the next time,
Changing lives over here.
Changing lives right
It's just
here.
a regular day for Zen Master Uploader.
well, they already know that my dream is to be a sports psychologist for New York Knicks, pro athletes. So,
Boom.
I'm going to throw them out there when
Yeah,
they
you're
come
starting
in.
already. Boom.
Awesome, man. Shit, where else you want to take this?
Dude, random. Like, we don't have to keep jamming for that long, but, like, I just more, like, I care about, like, just finding more out about you as a person. Like, dude, all right, straight up, what's your, like, what songs are you listening to before you go on?
So we were just jamming out to, like, Logic, and, like,
Yeah.
like, that's what I like right now, because I just went to his concert not too long ago.
Yeah.
Like it was dope, and I've been listening to that a lot. But usually I listen to, like, Big Sean, or, like, I don't know, even it varies, man.
Yeah, they're like inspirational hip hop
Yeah,
kind of.
inspirational hip hop, like conscious music.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really love that, especially when there's stuff that motivates you, because it's talking about stuff that's real, and I can relate to that, especially, and take it into my own art.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
All right. Other random questions. You just finished a fight you prepared for like 2-3 months. What's your first meal post match?
Yeah.
Post match was, I got a burger.
Yeah.
So
My man.
it was like, because I fought in Australia, so I got this. I went to a pub and got, like, a burger and a beer.
That has to
Dude, speaking of that, like, just to be on that diet topic, like, not really, like, what's your exact diet, but, like, what's your philosophy on dieting as a fighter? Like, what kind of, like, how do you handle
Yeah. What do you put in your body? Like, what do you?
So when I'm training, my strength and conditioning coach had me on, like, protein shakes. We had green leafy vegetables and broccoli. Before training, I would do, like, a whole sweet potato, so, like, for the energy, but the good, like, nutrients and things like that. Every now and again, like, very, very light meat, so, like, turkey, chicken breast, things like that. Like, no, like, beef, and if it was, I had a ribeye that I would cook for myself. I would cook all of this myself. So for the most part, just eating light, but, like, very, very healthy meats. A lot of green leafy vegetables, and like sweet potato and things like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you try to like eat light so you feel light? Is that kind of thing?
So, yeah, eat light 5 times a day. So, eating very consistently so that your metabolism is, fired up and going.
Yeah, when you're working out for 4 hours a day like you,
man.
you gotta have just nutrients in the body at all times.
And training hard. So, definitely continue eating,
Yeah.
things like that, yeah.
That's so important. And this dude's insane. Like the other day, he put me through a 40-minute workout, and I was like, this is one of the hardest workouts in my life. And he's like, yeah. But I didn't throw up, but like I was gassed. And I was like, man, what's that like compared to your normal like workouts? He's like, yeah, quite a bit harder than that. And then for 4 hours, I'm like,
Damn, dude.
it's crazy. But like, I think it's so cool for people to hear that, because like a lot of people have a hard time like just doing like 5 minutes and just getting their body moving. And what I want everyone to understand is like you get to whatever you put into. Like you get wherever you're gonna like stack up enough to get to. So you're able to do 4 hours because you just keep on putting in the work and stacking to build that up. So anyone who like thinks 5 minutes is really hard right now, I just want them to understand that like you can do that and so much more. It's just about like doing the thing.
Absolutely. Just
Doing
do
the
thing.
Where else you want to go?
Dude, I just lost it. It was about training.
Favorite boxer of all time?
Yeah.
Or boxers, if you want to like get a few.
Yeah, if you want to throw Pops in there and then someone else.
Top five. In no particular order.
No particular order.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just throw out there. My dad is probably one of my favorite, but he's not gonna be in my top 5 because that's like cheating. That's like cheating. I learned from this guy.
Yeah.
So but he's definitely up there. Let's just say he's number 1.
He's like default number 1. He's
default number 1. Okay. So one of them is Sugar Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali, Diego Chico Corrales, Andre Ward, and Floyd Mayweather.
Nice.
That's awesome,
Nice,
man. And if you could fight anyone at any time in history, who would it be? Now or whatever in the history of humankind?
I think it would have been pretty cool to fight Sugar Ray Robinson, man.
Yeah.
He was one of the baddest dudes ever. Like, baddest.
Dude, he was also pretty bad at jumping rope.
Yeah.
You see, dude, he was so
Yeah,
good.
he was ridiculous.
Very good rope.
I mean, I would love to actually fight Roberto Duran, which I've trained with Roberto. He was my trainer for like about a month and a half. I trained with him in Panama, and that was great. He's amazing dude. But I feel like back in the day, that would have been a fun fight too.
Yeah.
Because he was a monster. Yeah.
Speaking of, man, did you see the movie that came out with him?
Yeah.
How accurate do you think that was compared to like maybe stories you heard?
Well, I heard from Roberto that he said it was not accurate.
Yeah.
I guess there were many directors that they switched directors a couple times, and so the first director that kind of took on the story had the idea, I guess right, and then the last director kind of messed it all up, from what he says. So he didn't like it. He said it wasn't accurate on things like that. They made it more dramatic for, I guess, shock factor, but he didn't really care for it. So.
Nice.
Fair enough. He seems like a very like to the point guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
No BS?
No BS.
What was the regimen like when you were training with him?
So he would have us wake up like around 5 o'clock in the morning, and he'd be banging on my door at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Just bike camp?
Yeah, just by camp. Boom, 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 boom. And we go run for an hour, and then we do a workout like midday around like 12 o'clock. We do 2.5 hours in the boxing gym. Like in Panama, that's like ridiculous. It's like so hot.
So hot.
And we do like a 2.5 hour workout, and then later on at night we do more like technique and things of that nature at night, kind of just shadow boxing, stuff we want to work on, and things of that nature. So altogether, it was like 4 to 5 hour workout, which was every day for a month and a half.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool though that you were able to you surrounded yourself with top talent since like a young age.
Yeah.
So like you've put yourself in that situation to succeed, like just simply by your environment.
Yeah.
Which I think is very important.
Dude,
lesson.
I was thinking about that, and also the expectations you had on you from such a young age. Like, everyone just assumed you'd be good because you're a dad, right? Everyone was like, it's like, but you didn't have anything going into starting your career. You're just starting at 0, but everyone's already like, well, your expectations are this.
Well, I think a lot of people like to put expectations on you because, they, whatever their reasons are. I think people just by nature want to, second guess other people or put them down. Especially when you already, you have a parent that does it, or, oh, you're not as good as this, or you're not, as good as that person. But at the end of the day, you're your own person. You have a blank sheet of paper, and you're starting from 0, like you said. So there shouldn't be any expectations on anybody.
Yeah.
Love that.
All right, man. Final question. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you answering all of our questions. Let's talk about legacy, man. Like, you are just starting your own YouTube channel. You're starting your own just network, basically, Man of Power Boxing,
Yes.
where you're going to be teaching the world the art of boxing, the mindset of boxing, everything. And I'm so pumped on that. And I want to hear from you, what's a legacy that you hope to create through your professional career and these endeavors you're about to embark on?
Okay, so the legacy that I want to continue is just that champion boxing, that mindset, and I want people to be able to see that it wasn't given to me. And even though my road is tough, there's a lot of people out there that say that I shouldn't box anymore, or that I'm not good enough, I'm not as good as my dad. And like we talked about earlier, those haters, I'm gonna let that all just fuel me, what I mean, and get better, because that's what it's supposed to do. All of those negative comments and you're not good or you're not good enough, good, what I mean. So I'm just gonna use all those things to get better and for myself, and I'm gonna translate that into the content that I put out, what I mean, to teach people how to fight like me, or to fight like I know how to fight, my style of boxing, my philosophy on boxing, what all of the knowledge that I've gained throughout fighting and being around great fighters like Roberto Duran, like Shane Mosley, like all of the guys that train at the boxing gym and boxing club that I've been through and currently am at. So I'm gonna just let all of those things come out. And it's gonna be, natural. It's not gonna be anything like I'm gonna try to create a certain persona for myself or things like that. It's just gonna be things that I've, learned throughout my time with boxing, and it's gonna grow just like how I'm growing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the great part about it. Start it at kind of a young stage to where I don't feel like I'm good enough, but I will get better. I have the determination, and I think to see that transformation, to put it out on YouTube, and so that people can follow me, I think that's great.
Yeah, and dude, I think one of the things that people are gonna love most about you is how fun you are. You don't stop smiling. This guy, I've never, he can't go more than 30 seconds without laughing, I swear. You'll see him doing boxing drills, just kicking it, music's playing, he just starts freestyle dancing. This dude's super fun, and man, that's what I appreciate, is because it should all be fun. It's serious, you're a pro boxer, you're fighting for your life every time you get in that ring.
Right.
But at the same time, life is all about having fun. Absolutely. And so I think I really appreciate how you bring that into everything you do.
Thank you. And man, I appreciate your time, fellas.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for coming on, bro. I appreciate it.
Man, you guys check out this man's YouTube channel. We'll throw it on the screen right now. Subscribe to it. Go check out his videos. He's gonna be creating a lot more content. Of course, subscribe to the Zen Dudes if you haven't already.
Right.
And yeah, watch the next video on the playlist because you're going to like it. Do the thing. Boom, baby.